Hello, students. Today we are going to do a sonnet by John Donne, who is a metaphysical poet. Death Be Not Proud. Now, Death Be Not Proud is a sonnet which appears in his volume Holy Sonnets, Divine Meditation. This is the sonnet number 10 in this volume. In this poem, the poet speaks about death and argues with death as if it was a person. And there is the personification of death. And he says that he actually challenges death, and he says that you are not as strong as people think you to be or as you claim to be. He says that you are not an abstract force or, like a person. You are a person. And the poet actually demolishes two popular concepts of death. Firstly, that death is dreadful, and secondly, that death is mighty. He personified death and actually addresses him directly. He says, "Death be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful." So here there is a personification of death, and the poet argues and says, "Death, you should not be proud." Okay? Though some have called thee mighty and dreadful. Though some poets, some people may have called you mighty. Mighty means very full of strength, very powerful, and dreadful, frightening. So people have called you very powerful and very frightening, for thou art not so. He says, you are not so. So means neither you are mighty nor you are frightening. I do not think you to be very powerful, very mighty, full of strength and frightening. I do not fear death. He says, for those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not. He says, death, I do not think that the dead people, the people who are dead, they have been defeated by you. Thou thus overthrows. He says, you think, death, that you have defeated, you have overthrown the people who are dead, but they die not. They are actually not dead. Okay. He says that they are actually sleeping. He says, for those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not. Poor death. He actually feels sorrowful for death. He calls death a meek person, a very weak person. He says, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. He says, if you are so mighty, if you are so frightful, if you are so full of strength, if you are so powerful, I challenge you. Can you kill me right now? You cannot defeat me. I challenge you to kill me. I challenge you to defeat me, but you cannot kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be. He says, rest and sleep are just your pictures. Just as, people, when they need when they are very tired, they rest and sleep. So they are just your copy. You are just like sleep and death. Sleep and rest. But much pleasure. But he says that we get a lot of happiness, rejuvenation, a refreshment from your pictures, your copy, that is rest and sleep. So much pleasure. Then from thee much more must flow. So from rest and sleep, which are only your copy, from rest and sleep, which are your pictures, we get so much refreshment, we get so much rejuvenation, we get so much pleasure. Then from you, more pleasure, more energy, and more rejuvenation should come. So why we should fear you? You are powerful, you are frightening as you claim, but in reality, you are nothing more than rest and sleep. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls delivery. He says, soonest our best men with thee do go. So it is a saying that good people die soon. So he says that best men means good people. They go with you, means they die at an early age. So why do they die? Because rest of their bones. They get physical rest. Their body gets rest. and their soul's delivery, and their soul becomes free. It becomes independent. It is free from the clutches of the body. So, death is actually a medium to make the soul independent and free. So, if death would have been so bad, why do our good people die at an early age? Thou art slave to fate, chance, king, and desperate men. He says that you are a slave. You cannot act according to your own wishes, according to your own whims. You are a slave to fate. When fate decides, when destiny decides, then only you can, kill a person. Chance means accidents. So you are dependent on accidents, because if an accident doesn't happen, people will not die. Kings and desperate men. Kings who actually give orders for killing. So you are dependent on the order of the king. And desperate men means those men, those people who are, under, we can say, who are very sorrowful, who are full of grief, who are under depression, they kill themselves. So, death, you are dependent on these factors, then only you can act. And he says, thus with poison, war, and sickness dwell. Dwell means you are dependent. You're dependent on what? You're dependent on poison. Because you need a reason. Death needs a reason, death needs crutches to actually make a person dead. So, poison, war, and sickness, these are the causes of death. So, you cannot, death cannot act at its own. It has to take the help of either war or poison or sickness. And poppy or charm can make us sleep as well, and better than that, thy stroke. Poppy is a flower whose seeds are used to make a medicine which makes people go to sleep. So he says poppy, it intoxicates us, it makes us unconscious, and charm, magic. Magic also makes us sleep as well. Okay, so both the poppy and the charm help men to sleep in a very deep slumber, and better than thy stroke. And their slumber is better than your stroke. It is better than, why? Because they get up again. Whereas once death comes, you cannot get up again. So he says that poppy and charm can help men to sleep as well, and it is better than death's sleep. Why swellest thou then? Why swellest means, why are you so proud then? Why do you feel so proud then? Why you are so hostile? One short sleep past and we wake eternally. One short sleep. So death is just one short sleep. Death, he's talking about the last day of judgment, where Jesus Christ said that all people who are dead will rise again, and all people who are living will die, and then everybody will go in front of God, and God is going to decide according to their deeds that whether they have to go in heaven or hell. So death is what? It's just an interval. It is just an intermission. It is just one short sleep. And when it passed means when it comes to an end, we will wake eternally. And then death shall be no more. All the people will die. And all the people who are dead and buried will come out of their graves. And then we will go to God. And God is going to decide. Then there will not a single human being left for death to kill. So whom the death is going to kill? The fact is that death will not be able to kill anybody, and death itself will die. Death, thou shalt die. So the soul is immortal. Okay, but death is not immortal. Donne imagines the future of death, and he says, you are going to die. So the soul is immortal, whereas death is mortal. Then he says, why we should, feel fearful of death. Thank you.